Welcome to Get Offset. My name is Emily, and I just want you to know that if you want that pumpkin spice latte, you should get one. Don't let the haters dictate whether or not you get the drink that you want. I'm here today because Sweetwater sent me something to demo and review. It is the Apogee BOOM. It has a really small footprint, so it will fit in a backpack, a purse, or on even the smallest desk. It feels really robust, and I think it's quite handsome. I'm biased towards purple, and you know that. So it has one microphone input with one of their class-leading preamps, but that can also be an instrument input, or you can put some pro-level gear like a mixer into there as well. It also has a separate instrument input, just your standard 1/4 inch adapter. But you might be wondering, how do you control things on this? I don't see a button for phantom power. I just see one knob. I don't see a way to select between them. So let's take a look. So you're going to be looking at these lights, right? And so right now I'm on input 1 and I can control the volume just like that. Move to input 2, control the volume, and then that's the output. So there you go. You also might notice there are 2 little effect symbols. This is great if you're on the go and want to record through an Iridium and have some extra EQ and compression settings. I think it's especially great for people like podcasters and streamers. So normally when you record a podcast, like a video podcast through a tool like Zencaster, or if you're streaming through Streamlabs, you don't have much control over shaping the tone of your voice or an instrument if you're using that. Their software via the Apogee Control, which is free, allows you to set a high-pass filter, has a 3-band EQ where you can specify the frequency it's being cut or boosted. It also has a compressor that has quite a few controls. You can also control the routing of the compressor, of the EQ. It's pretty impressive, actually. So I'm going to show you that, but first I'm going to talk about a few other features of the Apogee BOOM, and I'm just going to unplug it. It was plugged into the iPad. I want to just be able to power it to show you. So this is bus powered even on an iPad or iPhone, which is great because if you're on the go, getting a quick recording of a demo in, recording your podcast, or doing a brief stream from your phone, you don't have to find another outlet. You can truly just be in the back of the van with your iPhone out and your little lap guitar, your synth or whatever, recording notes. So that's just, again, one less thing you have to worry about. For those streamers and podcasters, this also does have a loopback feature, so you can get audio from your phone into your recording. It makes live streaming multiple audio sources very easy, and that's one of the biggest issues when you're trying to get computer audio. So it's really great that you can mix those loopbacks separately. That's one of my favorite features for any interface I have if I'm streaming with it. It also includes Ableton Live Lite, as well as the Apogee 2 control software. So yeah, again, totally portable and bus powered, but the heart of this, I think, is in that control software and the effects that you can apply to each channel. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this back into my iPad, get a guitar set up through the Strymon Iridium, and let's do a little bit of recording. See you in a second. Welcome back. I have my Apogee BOOM hooked up to my iPad via a USB-C to C cable. Mac users, you probably have 100 of these lying around. I did have to buy one, but it was really inexpensive, so I'm not complaining. So I have my mic hooked up to analog in1, the guitar and the Iridium hooked up to analog in2, and let's just start to talk about some of these controls. First, we have general settings, sample rate, output format, main output level, some options for how long the indicator light is on for meter peak hold and overhold. I'm going to go ahead and set overhold to infinite, X out, and now we're in the channel view. So this is called the channel view. For a lot of audio interfaces, you would control some of these elements on the front panel of the interface. For Apogee BOOM, you control it via the control software. And that obviously has its pros and cons. Not everybody likes digging through software to make changes or like turn on phantom power or adjust gain. And you don't actually have, you can still adjust gain on the front of the panel. You just press in on the panel until it's at the input you want or the output level, and you can adjust it that way. But for phantom power, effects, inverse polarity, things like that, padding, you do want to go through the app. The benefit of this is it's less stuff that can break on the device itself. By going through the software instead of putting it on the front, like just less buttons to break. So I'm for it personally. So you can see that analog in1 is set to mic, analog in2 is set to instrument. I can turn a pad on and off like this. Now I'm 10 decibels quieter. And I can select various levels for the instrument as well. For example, the +4 dBu, that's great if you're plugging in some pro audio gear like an external mic preamp. Pretty good for that. Otherwise, there's also a low Z option that I'm also not going to use. Next, we have gain control, and that's pretty self-explanatory. You just adjust it. Whoops, that sounded great. You just adjust it like so, or on the front panel. You can also group the channels. So if I was just recording the iridium right now, I could have one half of the iridium going into, like the left side going into the left side and the right side going to the right side. You'd be able to just click that and then they would adjust at the same rate. So you can turn them up and down the same level for both sides. So they're always exactly the same. That's really cool. And that's just one of the pros of using software instead of controls on the front of the interface. Next, we have 48 volts, so that's phantom power. So this would work with condenser microphones, so that's great. We have SL. I'm pretty sure that's a limiter. Some Apogee interfaces do have limiters built in. So I have it on. It seems to be helping with my overall volume levels, so I'm going to keep it. Next, we have effects. So you turn effects on or off right there, and I'm sure you could already hear a difference in my voice. That's because I've already been fiddling with some of these effects. So let's take a look at them. First, we have an EQ. And you can turn that on or off. So you could just have the compressor, not the EQ. You can hear a bit of a volume difference there. Then we have a high pass filter. Right now I have it at about 80. That's generally where I leave it. But you can set it anywhere from 20 to 300 hertz. And it's a fixed 18 decibel slope. There you go. You also have cut or boost up to 15 decibels each way for a low, mid, and high frequency. And you can set that frequency to whatever you want to set it to within, obviously, these limits. So low is 35 to 300, mid is 250 to 8 kilohertz, high is 4 kilohertz to 16 kilohertz. You can also set the Q to be wider or more focused. So just so you can hear it, I'm going to just do the mids because that's what's going to be most apparent with vocals. You can really hear it. So yeah, too much mids on vocals can get a lot, so I'm not going to boost it quite that much. Next, we have the compressor, which we can also turn on and off. So you have the threshold, the mix. I don't want fully compressed mix on my vocals, but I do want a higher threshold, for example. And you can compress it 3 to 1, 5 to 1, or 10 to 1. So, yep, they're just different. You can also set drive and output level. So I'm going to go back to a 3 to 1 compressor. So you can have the EQ before the compressor or after it. That's personal preference, whatever you think sounds better. You also have the output level from the compressor, so we can turn that up a little bit. And I'm not going to have any drive. Next, let's look at the guitar. So I'm not going straight into the iPad via the Apogee. I have the Strymon Iridium in there because I think it sounds better than the options I have on this iPad via GarageBand. But yeah, let's look at the effects for the guitar. Turn that up. So you can obviously hear the difference. So high pass, again, about 80. You can adjust the low. You can adjust the mids. Maybe just a slight boost to that frequency. And then the highs. Then we have the compressor. So we have the threshold, the ratio, let's play some Prince. Turn that up. 100% wet. And then EQ and comp. Adjust the drive and the output level as well there. I'm going to turn up my bass because I'm not going to be fighting with a bassist. And I would like a fuller sound just for what I'm hearing right now. Cool. So we also have a mixer view, and this is any standard mixer view, but it is helpful if you're going into something like GarageBand or any other recording app, and they don't have great track controls, which is just seems to be the case. So you have your analog in 1 and 2. You can pan them left and right. You also have your playback, so your loop back stuff, and a main master. So that is the gist of the software. Let's go ahead and try to record something into GarageBand maybe. So I have GarageBand open, and instead of going through the dreadful amps, no offense, I'm going to go into the audio recorder here. So let's go and record an instrument part. We can add some room sound and some compression. I already have compression. And also, I actually already do have some room turned on, but via the Iridium, it is such a great little pedal. So we got nice room, dreamy chorus. All right. One thing I didn't do is turn on the monitor. So right now, obviously it's defaulting to my voice because GarageBand is going to default it input 1. So I can do input 1, input 2, which is the guitar, or both at the same time. So I'm going to go back, and it's going to be, should I just do this? I don't want any of that. Just acoustic guitar, which, you know, is not exactly what I want. I just want a straight input. Let's go to nice room. Monitoring is on. And 12 bars is good. Let's record. Nice. So that was a success. And let's go back and record a vocal take. All right, let's listen. It's mighty strange, you looking happily deranged. Can you tell the truth bit? Or have you picked your target yet? Hey, Sandy, hey, hey, hey. Dog bite, hey, hey, Sandy. That'll work. And, you know, that still sounded a lot better than the built-in effects on GarageBand. And I was able to shape everything more or less the way I wanted to because of Apogee control software. So I'm going to turn everything down and give you my final thoughts. Turn that down. So my final thoughts. It's a great little interface. It retails for about $299. So it has the one microphone input, and you can do 2 instrument inputs into it because it's the dual microphone and 1/4 inch input jack. You know, at first I was like, why aren't there more controls on the face of it? But the only thing I ever really would need to adjust on the fly, normally at least, would be the volume or the gain levels. And you can very easily do that. I think it's really nifty. If you want a little bit more control to make like quick recordings on your iPad while you're traveling or something like that, I also think that this would hold up on the road. The enclosure itself feels really robust, and since there's less stuff on the front panel, I worry less about things breaking or falling apart. The more mechanical elements you put in things like this, just the easier that it is if it gets dropped or gets knocked around, that it will break. So that's a really big downside to trying to travel with similar, smaller interfaces. This, I think that would hold up. It's also really handsome. Apogee is really well regarded in the recording industry itself. I know that it's maybe not the name brand when people think about at-home audio interfaces. I think that's a shame because they make some really high-quality products. They really, really do. And as far as the software, I especially like it on the iPad. My only complaint for it on the computer itself, it's very small text. It's really small text and you couldn't really make the window bigger. I anticipate that'll be fixed at some point because I'm probably not the only one who noticed it. But it was a little bit hard to read. But on the iPad, everything is intuitive. It just works, which is really neat. So again, about $299. If you do choose to buy one, please consider using the affiliate link in my video description. It's a great way to support the channel, doing things you're going to do anyway. Doesn't cost you any extra money, but I do get a portion of the proceeds back. So that's a huge help. Again, thank you to Sweetwater for sending me this to review. Again, Sweetwater. Other ways to support the channel include liking, commenting, and subscribing. That's my personal favorite. If you're watching during the premiere, you can drop a super chat. So if you want to join more premieres, you can ring that bell icon after you smash that like button. You know, it sounded as stupid saying it out loud as I thought it was going to. We also have a Patreon at patreon.com/getoffset that gives you access to our exclusive Discord server. We have merch at getoffsetpodcast.com/shop. But just in general, thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. Until next time, my name is Emily. Goodbye.